Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's podcast. Now, this week, I want to approach the elephant in the room, and that is this astrological energy that has been going on at the minute. There is stuff happening in the collective that you might be feeling, and you might not be feeling. And I'm going to explain both, and both are perfectly fine. But today, I wanted to talk about it because we are at a peak of the full supermoon that we are having today, which if you're listening to this in the future, you've still come across this podcast for a reason. So trust it. But today we have a full supermoon in Pisces, and it is a blue moon. Now, what a blue moon means is that you have had two full moons in the same month. So we have had two full moons, two super full moons as well in the month of August. And what that means is the power is even more heightened than normal. When you have a super moon for a start, it means that the moon is the closest point to the earth. So we are feeling that power, we are feeling that goodness, that energy that radiates off our moon, that moves the tides, that literally helps us turn. That is coming into effect massively on this planet at this time because it is closest to us. So we have had two of these full moons this same month. So this second one that we have got now in Pisces is a blue moon. And that's why you say once in a blue moon, because it is literally two in a month, which we don't normally get. So we don't normally get two in the same calendar month. And this happens very rarely. And I think I read the other day that the next time this is going to happen is 2037. So this specific type of blue moon that we're having currently is not going to come into our path again until 2037. Now, I'll just put out there, I'm not an astrologer. I don't study this that much. So I dip in and out of this. So I know bits, I know information, I read a lot of information on it because it affects me and it affects me quite deeply. So I try and keep up with all of this as much as I can, and that's what I share with you. But there is some amazing tools out there for you to go and utilize and use. I often like following Kirsty Gallagher. She's all about the moon and the lunar cycles. So that's what I'm interested in. I'm really interested in the moon and the lunar cycles. And I dip in and out of where things are on my birth chart. So I am by no means an expert in this, but I have a good level of knowledge that I do like to share. So I just get that out first. So what's been happening lately is we have a number of planets that have gone into retrograde. Now, this means a backward motion. So whatever the planet is normally doing in what it's normally responsible for, so Venus is responsible for our love and our relationships and that collaboration. Neptune is all about that lovely, dreamy energy. And when these start to go into retrograde, what that means is things can start to be highlighted or displayed where we maybe are not in full alignment in them areas. So it's normally normal to have maybe a couple of planets in retrograde. You'll know that Mercury likes to do it a lot. You'll hear about Mercury retrograde when all of your communication and your IT and technology likes to play up. That's the lovely Mercury that goes into retrograde quite often. So that's one of the most common ones. But we also have the others that do the same. They all go into retrograde at some point. And at the minute, we've actually got 5 planets in retrograde and soon to be 6 next week. And then another one going into retrograde after that. So this means there is a lot of astrological energy going on that is causing a bit of a spotlight to be shone on your life. Now, we don't always like that because that can mean change. It can mean disruption. It can mean feeling things we've maybe never felt for a while. And there has been a real pattern of things happening that's creating this change in our life. And I want to explain why, and I want to explain how to handle it, and also why you might not be feeling it as well. So, one thing I would say is everybody is completely different. Now, we have this astrological energy, and it could be, we've got this full moon, so you're going to feel the watery energy of Pisces that can come in and affect your emotions. That plus Venus being in retrograde can really heighten that. But not everyone will be feeling that. And that's okay if you're not. But if you are feeling it and you're feeling tired, you're feeling drained, you're feeling like things are going wrong for you, then please trust that this is just a time to be working through things. It doesn't mean that this is going to predict into your future. So I know a lot of people who manifest and manifest with me, if you have a time where you are taking rest, if you are having pause, if you are stepping into your feminine nature, you are not off your game. Let me tell you, you are not creating this future that is not working out for you. I would say if you're feeling this huge at the minute, like this energy is coming through really strong, what that's telling me is you're actually going through more of a rebirth. So you are actually creating that shift from the timeline that you're on now into the timeline that you want to be. So if it is all coming at you and you're feeling it, you're getting the ascension symptoms, you're getting the headaches, the downloads, the fuzzy head, a bit of tension in your cheeks and around your eyes, you're feeling maybe off balance, a little bit dizzy, that is telling me this rebirth is really coming through strong for you and you are up leveling, and that is ascension symptoms coming through. So do not worry, do not fear that. That is actually you up leveling and your energetic body up leveling at the same time. I would recommend drinking lots of water, grounding your energy, getting outside in nature, having Epsom salt baths. Magnesium is perfect for this. So please start to take care of your body as you go through this transition as well, because collectively we are on this up level. Since probably COVID, we've started to open our minds more. We've started to see the things in life that we actually care about, the things that we want to bring in, the things where we want to focus on. And it's not the old ways that we've had. And this is why I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, because a lot of that freedom and a lot of that fun and that passion in your work life and your whole life comes from actually freeing yourself from the restriction of having that job and that way of living that you maybe had before. Now, it's not just about freeing yourself from a job, because I'm an entrepreneur, but I also am a leadership coach in a corporate establishment. So, it's not so much just breaking free of a job, but it's having more of that freedom in your work. And that's where I have like that passion in what I do is in everything I do. So my job is my passion. My business is my passion. It's all linked. It's not that there's two parts of me anymore. It's not that I go to work and I put that time in and I do that thing. What I do, that passion that's in me, is now everywhere. And that is what it's about. It's about bringing all of you to all parts of your life, whether it's relationship, business, money. It's about bringing it all to the surface and becoming who you actually want to be authentically at your core. Now, you might have felt this change. And what I'm feeling at the minute is it's coming through in a bit of a cycle breaker pattern. So you might find that you are actually breaking a cycle within your life. I feel like this big energy coming through is part of us closing off a chapter that we've been living. Now, for me, that is a 10-year chapter that is closing down. I know, speaking to my mastermind group in Miraculous Success Academy, there was people talking about this 5-year chapter for them. So there's this key 5 years. And something happened around 2017 that triggered this 5-year cycle really kind of starting to happen. So start to think of what was happening for you around 2012, 2013, 2017, 2018. What type of things were happening that was triggering this change in you? And there might be something that you're like, wow. And that's what's kind of coming to an end. So if you're having, during this time, if you're having a number of flashbacks, you're having a number of things coming up from the past, a number of relationships that you thought had been sorted and kind of moved to a different level, but is coming up in some way where it's triggering things inside of you, start to look at those patterns that you might be closing out cycles of. Now, what this energy is asking you to do is really shine that light inside to see, where do you need the healing? Where do you need to align? And where do you need to let yourself unleash? Because often we look at things and we live a certain way due to the way that we've been brought up, the way that we think we should do things, the way that our partner wants us to do things. And actually, that doesn't sit in alignment with who we truly are at our soul level and our core. And your soul is changing at the minute. Now, it's not changing. It's always been this way. You were always meant to find this path. You were always meant to probably be hearing this information on this day whenever you are listening to it. You've been guided for a certain reason because you are going through a big up level and a big change. So trust that your soul's guiding you to the right information at this point, because your soul knows what it needs. It knows where it wants you to go. And it also knows the structures and the things that it needs to break away from in order to make that happen. Now, with this number of planets being in retrograde, what is happening is it's allowing you to look at your life under that microscope on lots of different areas. So like I said, Neptune's all about that dreamy energy. We've got Venus around you, relationships. We've got a number of other planets, communication. Mercury's all about that communication. So there's lots of things happening that is asking you to look at what's happening in your life. What bits do you like? What bits do you not like? So whether you're feeling that energy or not, I would still say working with this energy is going to help you manifest in the longer term. So one thing I would start with is, how often are you connecting to your vision? Now, you've got a vision of what you want your dream life to be, and you might not have it really crystal clear yet. But the thing is, the more you step into that vision, the more clear it gets. The more you understand who you want to be, how you want to feel. All of that stuff starts to come through when you start to let yourself dream. Now, Neptune is all about dreaming. So this is coming at this point to say, what is your life that you really crave? If you knew you could succeed at anything, if you knew you would be fully supported, what would you do? And this is when you start to release all the shoulds. You start to let go of all of that. I should be doing this, or I've built this business to this point, so I should be carrying it on. No, this is asking you to go deep. What do you want to create? Not how are you going to create it? What do you want to create? And this is such an important way of looking at it, because often we look at our dreams and we think, how can I make that happen? Is that for me? Is that really going to happen? And you start to doubt yourself. But actually, every reality you can imagine has already been created. So it's not a case of how or if or when, it's a case of how do you want to create it? So Neptune's coming in to ask you, how do you want to create this life? How do you want to build on it? How do you want things to turn out? And let yourself go big. Now, it might be that this energy is coming through to say you've been playing small. You've been holding yourself back. And during this time, you might have this real pull to something bigger, to something more, to something you've never acknowledged about yourself. You might have Neptune illuminating these energies that you haven't actually allowed to come through yet. So be open during this period. All of these planets will bring something in their own right. They will shine a light on parts of you that you need to explore to enable yourself to be your highest self, to enable you to follow that soul calling. So please do not underestimate the power of this time if you start to dig into your inner world, if you start to let go of what you think everything should look like, if you start to let go of the beliefs that you've had in the past, the behaviors you've built up, the lessons you've learned. If you start to think this is a blank canvas, and you might be seeing the things that you don't want and don't feel good anymore, and start to know that you can shed them and bring in new. So this full moon is exactly the time to be doing that. What is wanting to be released? What is wanting to be unbound? What is wanting to just be let go of? Who are you now? Who do you want to be? Because it's all about who you are being. Now, over time, you might have created these personas about yourself. This good girl, this good wife, this good employee, whatever that is for you. And you might find that that feels draining, it feels tired, it feels old, and your body might be feeling that way as well. So whatever planets are in alignment with your chart, now we will have some planets that really appear often in our birth chart. And, that is where you're going to feel this stronger pull at this time. So whatever planets are really connecting with you, whatever feels out of alignment with you at the minute, that is where you will feel the biggest pull. So you might not feel anything at the minute. You might be feeling good. You might be feeling like everything's on track. And that's because you've done a shitload of work before coming into this era at this time. You might be feeling in alignment, in flow. You might be feeling good because you've made those good decisions. You've let go of that energy. You've done the work. So trust that if you are not feeling anything, it doesn't mean that you are not going through this spiritual journey. It just means that you are well on your way. Now, I'm well on my way on mine, but I'm still feeling it heavy because there's still stuff I want to clear. And it goes on how big of an up level you want. Now, I know my dreams are huge, so my up level is going to take a bit of shifting and a bit of rejigging and a bit of moving things about. And sometimes that doesn't feel comfortable. So please trust that this energy is working for you. Those dreams that you have, you've already planted them. Getting into the imagination, getting into the feeling of them is how you start to connect with it more and bring it in more and manifest it quicker. It doesn't mean you haven't already asked. You have already asked for what you want. The universe listens to your every prayer, your every wish. It documents it all. It knows exactly what you want deep at your core. And it knows what your soul set out to do right before you come to this earth anyway. So let yourself trust that it's all happening for you. This is all a mass up level. It's all something breaking off what needs to go and bringing in what needs to come. So trust this energy that you're going through at the minute. Do not think that if you're feeling emotional, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like, God, I just need to have a break and stop, then that is not going to put you off track. That is just going to help you honor yourself. By you having a break, what you are actually doing is learning to honor your body, learning to honor that you do not have to be on the go all the time in order to make your manifestations happen. So trust, if you're being called to pause, pause. If you're being called to break off from something, break off from something. If you're being called to have better communication with somebody, speak your truth. Do not hold back. There is lessons to be learned during this period, and this is going to be ongoing for a few weeks. So make sure you are utilizing the most. Make sure you are getting the most out of this energy. And if you want a bit of support with that, my door is always open. You could book a session with me. You could buy one of the programs that I've got. And you can also get the Soulful Badass Collective, which is a collective of energy healing meditations to guide you through different aspects of your life that you might be having struggles with. So there is all sorts available, but please, if you are struggling, seek some help. You do not need to suffer on your own. We have big energy coming through, and if you've been through a lot in your life, this might feel more for you. So remember, it all comes down to the context as well. It comes down to the context you are currently living in. If everything's free flowing and feeling good, then you are probably not going to feel this as intense as everything else. If you are totally on track and you are so near your goals, then you are probably not going to feel it as intense. But if you are having those big goals and those stretch goals and them things that you want to go through, and it's going to take a bit of shifting to get there and a few lessons to learn, then you are going to be feeling this energy. And that's okay. Trust that it's for you. Trust that it's all working out, because the universe really does have your back. And this energy is all about you uplifting. And I always say, I attract change makers. I attract women and men who are here to literally make an impact in this world. Whether that's your corner of the world or whether that's you on a world stage, it doesn't matter. You are here to make big impact. And you are feeling this energy because of that. This is a shift and an up level for what you are here to do. So just trust it and work with the energy. This full moon is going to be beautiful energy, but it's going to be shining a light on those emotions. And I've been feeling actually good today. So, sometimes the full moon hits me with a bang. Sometimes it's the day after. We have a few days of this energy, but just maximize it. Just dance in that moonlight, because it is here to support you. And it always is. The moon is such a loving energy, and it is here to support your every move. So please use it. Use it to manifest. It is so beautiful. And you have so much support around you. You have your angels and guides, you have the universe, you have God, if that's what you believe. So there is so much here to support you through this. And this is a time to be asking for that support. Ask for that help. Ask to be shown what you need to release. Ask to be shown where you need to up level, and believe it will come through for you, because it really, really will. But I don't want you to fear any of this energy that's happening at the minute. It is all happening for you. It is all happening for your goodness. And actually, the more you learn to work with it, the more you learn to move through it, the more you learn to feel the emotions that are coming up. Because let's be honest, this is about you uncovering those emotions that you have buried deep inside. If they're coming up for healing, it's because you didn't let yourself feel them in the past. So please feel the emotions that are coming through. We've got the full moon in Pisces. That is all about emotions. So let yourself feel. There is nothing to fear. The feeling itself is just a vibrational frequency that once you feel it, it moves through you. But when you bury it, it attaches in you. So that's a very different state of being, and it causes a blockage when we do not let the emotions flow through us. So allow it to flow, allow it to give it the lesson, because it's a messenger. Your emotions are a messenger. They're giving you a message. They're giving you a gift. So trust that you are going to get the gift that you need, and let that emotion go. So I cannot emphasize enough how good this time is to be working with your inner self. It is time to go within. The outer world is just a reflection of the past. It does not mean that that is where you are going to go. And the more you stop looking outside for answers, the more you will actually make quantum leaps. So use this energy to go inside. Use this energy to bring about everything you want and desire in this life, because it is all there for you and you have the power to create it. So please don't doubt yourself. Take the rest when you need to rest. Pause when you need to pause, and know that you are a powerful being, and these cycles are affecting you because you are connected to all. You are connected to the planets. You are connected to the moon. You are connected to the tides, the air, the wind. Everything moves in your favor. Everything moves in your favor. So please remember that. Remember how supported you are. And let me know if this message today has helped you in any way, shape, or form, because it really is about connecting with something bigger and utilizing that energy within, rather than fighting against it all the time. So I hope it helps. Make sure you let me know in the Soulful Badass community. I'd love to hear what you're feeling at the minute and how things are going for you. And let's work through it together, because you're not alone. We're all in this. This is like a collective uprise, and you've got this. So enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy this full moon energy, and have the most amazing up level, because you are on an epic journey and you were born for absolute magnificence. Please never forget that. Speak soon. Bye.